Good afternoon all. Welcome to our webinar today, our CSC webinar for early professional development. We're going to be looking at Google for Education, which is available to all teachers and learners in Wales through the Hub platform. My name is Matthew Humphreys. I am the digital lead at CSC, and I'm going to be taking you through the beginning of this session today. We've also got on the line Mandy Yassine. He's going to be talking to you shortly. A couple of members of the digital team, James Prothero and Helen Christopher, who will be joining you via the Q&A and answering any of the questions you have through the session there. And we're really fortunate today to have two Google certified teachers with us, shortly to be Google certified trainers, both of them currently working within the CSC region as practicing teachers. So we've got Richard Hopkin from St Cyries in Penarth, which is a secondary school, and we've got Graham Jones from a Bontvine in Cowbridge, which is a primary school. So they're going to be your trainers today, taking you through different aspects of Google for Education. So I'm going to pass over to Mandy Yassine, who's just going to have a few moments of your time to discuss a little bit about what we're aiming for today.
Prynhawn da bawb. Good afternoon, everybody. I'm Mandy. And I'm the named person for the appropriate body for the Central South Consortium. And basically that means that my role is to oversee the induction process and to ratify all of the induction profiles that as newly qualified teachers you will be completing and submitting for appraisal. So the first thing I wanted to say is that congratulations on choosing the best job in the world. And we want you to fly into the future and have long and satisfying, fulfilling careers as educational practitioners. But we do recognise that you are facing very peculiar and unique challenges as we face the next academic year, and we want to support you as much as possible. So one of the things we want to do is to make sure that you're equipped with really excellent professional learning to enable you to do your job and refine your skills as a practitioner. This session is the first in a series of technical professional learning webinars that are aimed at improving your skills in using technology to support the planning, delivery and assessment of and feedback on learning experiences. And of course, next year that will be blended learning experiences. So the team today are here to support you through induction, and as I say, this is the first session. Very excited that it's going ahead, and big thanks to Matthew on that. And I look forward with my team to working with you in the coming academic year. Thank you.
What I'm going to do is I'm going to throw straight over to Richard, who will take you through Google Classroom. Google Classroom is one of the key elements of the Hub platform. And that has for you a whole wide range of different applications you can meld together and use to support learning either within class or via distance learning. So Richard, I'm going to pop your slideshow on screen. And Richard, it's over to you.
Thank you very much. Thanks, Matthew. Hi, everyone. Yeah, so my name's Richard Hopkin, and I'm the lead practitioner for teaching and learning at St Cyries School in Penarth, Vale of Glamorgan, and you can see a picture there on the screen. Now it looks, it's a brand new build, 2014 we moved in, and you can see it wasn't always like this. It was quite a dilapidated old building before that, so we were in desperate need for a new build. But the reason I wanted to show you the school and say that is because when we went to the new build in 2014, we had to think about learning not just for the present. And so we looked at lots of different types of models with technology, and we decided on a one-to-one iPad scheme, which uses Google for Education as the main infrastructure, the main software infrastructure. So looking at the Google infrastructure, you can see there's lots of different apps available to help manage this. As a teacher, the main that we use here will be the Google Suite. So you've got your docs, your slides, your sheets, Google Drive, our emails. So we use Gmail, but we've masked it with the @stcyries.org name, and also we use Google Classroom. And out of all the apps, we use iPad And out of all the apps we get to try, and we have the freedom to try with teaching and learning, these Google apps have really risen to the top, and especially Google Classroom. So if we look at Google Classroom, and these are the points that are taken from the Google Classroom website, you can see that it says it helps students and teachers organize assignments. And this is really important, especially your organization, really helpful for keeping your resources together when you're planning. Brilliant for that. Boost collaboration. So long gone are the USB sticks with different versions on and having to share things via email. You're able to instantly collaborate together. And foster better communication. So you're able to instantly communicate in a professional environment. It says educators can create classes, distribute assignments, grade, and then send feedback and see everything all in one place. So it keeps everything together instead of lots of different folders here and there. It's free for schools. So if you sign up as a school or an organization, you're able to have it for free. And the great thing, I think, you use it with Google Drive, which for education is unlimited. So you don't have to worry about your drive filling up. You can put videos, resources in, and it's unlimited, which is amazing. And then it says teachers and students can sign in from any computer or mobile device. So that's really handy for, you know, when you're in different environments, when you're at home, if you're away. You can sign in with anything from with an internet connection. I even heard of students doing their homework on the bus home, tethering to their mobile phones. So it's really, really handy for teaching and learning. So I've created this workflow really, and this is based on, say, my experience of using it over the last 6 years, and also, you know, looking at what Google Classroom does. So it starts pretty much up here, where the teacher creates the content, and this can be done by, you know, adding a Google Doc, a Google Slides. You can add a YouTube video, you can add an MP3 file, lots of different PDF. You create the content that you would like to distribute to your class. And then the students will use Google Classroom to collect the content that you've created, and then they get to go away using the Google G Suite apps to create their work. Then they check it through and they get to edit and then able to hand it in to you. You'll then receive it as a teacher. You're able to mark it, comment on it, assess it, and then return it if it needs redoing, or if not. So there's a bit of a loop here going on, so you can go back and forth until you're happy, and then it can be added to, say, their e-portfolio. You could store it on Google Drive, or you're able to share it. So let's have a look then in more detail. We'll have a look at how Google Classroom works. So as Matthew just mentioned on Hub, if you go to menu, you can see that there's the icon here for Google for Education. So if you click on that link, it will take you directly to Google Classroom. Now, Google Classroom, if you haven't used it before and you haven't used it for teaching and learning, your Google Classroom will look like this. And it says here, create or join your first class. So you're able to click the plus sign there and it'll create a class. Now mine, I've been using mine obviously this academic year, albeit within school and remotely, but mine looks like this. So this is mine. And if I was, this is a screenshot, but if I was to scroll down, you'd be able to see a lot more other classes, my year 7s and year 9s, etc. So yeah, so this is my class and my Google Classroom environment. And if I then click plus to add a class, this is what you get. Okay, so it's nice and simple. You just follow the different fields. So the class name, that's the required option. So you need to give your classroom a name. I usually, as you can see here, I call mine the name of the class, then the subject and my name. So it always pops up when they see it. But then you have these other options here, such as section. So section is pretty much like a subtitle. So if there's a certain time of day that you meet, or a certain, if it was a lunchtime club, you could possibly put the name in there. Then you have your subject. So I could put music in there, or if history, if you're a geography teacher, you'd put that in. And then once you've created your class, this is what it looks like. You get, again, the name, the title at the top there. You get the class code as well, and you have a couple of different options. You can invite your students to the classroom, or what I do is display this brand new class at the beginning of the term to my class on the screen, and they type that code in from their end. If you click that square there, that'll expand it and you can display the code big on the screen. And there's also this generate a meet link, and this is looking now at remote learning and using Google Meets and being able to do some remote teaching, live teaching with your class. You're able to select the theme. I think it automatically judges what type of subject it is, and they'll give you a theme, but you can upload your own photo and design your own banners as well if you want to. So this is your feed, your stream, and it's a bit like social media, a bit like, I suppose, Facebook, where you say share something with your class, so you can type a message in there and it'll be displayed, and I can show you that here. So this is an example of that. This is one of my learning objectives. So when we were actually in class just before we closed on the 13th of March, and you can see that I've just typed that in where it says share something with your class. It's also handy if you want to distribute things as well. So I use sheet music in my music lessons. So you can see here, I've added an image, which is a piece of sheet music, just basic paper behind glass, so the students will then load up onto their iPad, put it onto their keyboard stand, their piano stands, and they're able then to perform in class. So that's pretty much how the stream works. When setting assignments and creating work that you would like them to hand back to you and you're able to mark, that's by using the classwork tab up here. And again, simply just by clicking create, you will create your assignment. You can see this is a list of what I've been doing since, on this view, you can see since April up until now remotely with our once a week teaching from home. And this is a year 8 lesson, so we're looking at the dance music and the waltz at the moment. So these are there's the hand-in dates where they were due, and this was a screenshot on Monday, I think, so it was due on Tuesday. So I'll move on. So to create your assignment, you just type your title in and give your instructions to what you would like them to do. You can add files. So again, sometimes I've added a video file for them to watch or an audio file for them to appraise the music, and you can just add that, or you can add a doc from your drive. On the right hand side, these are really handy tools because you're able to select the class that you want to post this assignment in, especially remote teaching. I teach year 6, year 8 classes, so rather than me having to type it out 6 times, I can just use the drop down box there and then select all 6 classes. You can also select individual students if you just wanted it to go to a group of students in the class. Maybe you're looking at differentiation and you want to, distribute that. You can select your students. You also have here your points. No excuses of the work being late, and you can actually set that there. And then you've got a topic as well, so you can create or you set a topic that it will belong to and where it's organized in your Google Classroom stream. So then at the top here we have people, so these are the students in your class. You see teachers at the top, that's me, and then you've got your students listed below. I've blurred them out for obvious reasons. Another handy tool is you can see the guardian's contact details as well, so if you need to contact parents you can do that. And there's also another app that works seamlessly and side by side with Google Classroom called Google Guardian, and the parents choose to sign up to that and they'll get notifications of what homework's been set, how well they're doing, if they've handed in on time, and it causes a great conversation over the dinner table. How are you doing in school? Rather than the students saying, oh it was all right, school was all right, you'll get some actual feedback because they'll have some content to work with. So that's worked really well for us. You can also click on the individual students and get an overview and see how they're doing. So I've selected quite a good student. You see they've handed in work for me ever since we've been on lockdown actually, and you can see the options on the side here. This is all the work, what you could have just handed in, returned, or if there's any missing if you want to categorize them. But yeah, you can see that it has their due date. You can see they've attachments are there, and if we've had any communication, so with the comments, that's been me going back and giving them some feedback. Now you can see here that I've set marks, like earlier when I said when you generate an assignment you have the option whether you want to. So the ones are out of 100, they're the ones I haven't bothered to change, but you can see out of 12, for instance, that was a musical theatre test, you can see that that person has had 7, we've had a 5.5, and so on. And you can see that this student hasn't handed in any work from lockdown, and they've been contacted. That's gone on further, but they're not engaging at all from home. So that's been looked into further. But again, it's a great handy tool for doing that as well. So this is pretty much the things that I found from using Google Classroom and the benefits of it. Workload. So I always remember before Google Classroom and before we went digital, so to speak, filling my boot at the end of every half term with my assessments. And I mean, I'd have hundreds of Key Stage 3 students to go through. Now it's, all in one place, easy, accessible, as I say, accessible. You can access it from any device, from your phone if you really want to. You set your reminders, so it's a good reminder for yourself, so you know when to mark, but also great for the students. Organization, so your resources, when you create a resource, it goes into the stream. You can then repost, and I've got that there, repost, and you can repost it to another class, so you don't have to type up twice. You can share with other teachers. So from an organization point of view, it's fantastic. You get instant feedback as well, so you can give and you can get instant feedback through the communications when they post. You're able to see it almost straight away. You'll be notified about that, so you can check. And it's also been really handy for when I've been working with, say, my sixth form in the evening, and if they're working on an essay or that kind of thing. I've been there having a cup of tea, doing some marking, doing some schoolwork, and they'd pop up a question on the comments for me. And I'm able then to instantly go back to that student. And by me being available, I mean, you've got to think of your workload, and you don't always have to be available. I'm not saying being available when you're on a walk out and about with your family or anything like that. But what I'm saying is, if you're doing some work on your computer and a question pops up, then you're able to answer it, which may, enable that student to then go on and do another hour of work rather than stopping. So it's really handy for that. Homework. So the work continues from the classroom. So that works seamlessly. So they're able to access the work you did in classroom and then continue that. And then it's great for evidence. So we recently had an inspection in January, and everything I had done, I was able to unarchive my old classes from the year before and the year before, and they're able to see everything we've done in a nice, timely order as well. It works seamlessly with Google Drive and the other G Suite apps, so you're able to, like I say, store all your resources on your Google Drive. You can call things up. Sometimes your lessons change halfway through, and you need to access a resource quickly because you thought, oh, that would work really well here. Well, you can just go to Google Drive and post straight away, and it's there. You can contact students in a professional environment outside of school. So, you might be able to, at home it's an evening time, but you might need to contact a student. Well, you can do that, and they'll be notified via email or from their notifications. And then parents can monitor the students through the Google Guardian. As I said, it's great content for them to check everything's okay, and they have an awareness of what's going on. So just looking at a couple of the kind of things I mentioned there. So the organisation, you can see, you can create your topics here. So this is for my year 12, my Welsh back, and you can see that they have the different topics that we've had the community challenge, and that organises it really well for me there, so I can easily find that rather than having to scroll all the way through the stream. Also the communication, so this is just a little example. So this is the other day. So my iPad is not downloading any photos at the moment. So my slides might be a bit plain, sorry, but then I was able to then go back and say, thanks for letting me know, but well done for completing the work, even though you can't add the photos. And that just kind of reassures the student quickly, instantly, that they can carry on, and well done for doing the work. Again, here, this is another example, which I haven't really mentioned yet, but it's a really handy tool. Google Classroom is a really handy tool for live teaching as well. This is something I've developed for a starter activity, or maybe for a plenary activity, where you can set a question and they can actually answer it live within the classroom. So they don't have to all shout out in class. They don't have to put their hands up. They can think about their answers. And this has been actually for music, where I was playing a piece of music, and I think I set the question as they were walking into class. So that learning per second, you've got that kind of, everyone's not sitting around waiting for the class to start. They can get on with something, listening to the music. I particularly like this, where it says it reminds me of Tom and Jerry, and they're talking about Beethoven's Fifth Symphony. But I can see what they mean about the way it's dramatic, I suppose. But the main thing for me is that Google Classroom enhances learning. So thank you very much, Diolch yn fawr. As I said, there's my email. You can contact me here on my email, and I'm also on Twitter. And have a go at Google Classroom. Please have a go, have a play around. And if you need anything, and if you'd like to get in touch with me, please do by using the following, by the emails or the Twitter. Thank you very much.
Thank you for that, Richard. That's really, really useful. If you've got any questions, remember to put them in the Q&A. 1 or 2 questions about whether slides will be available. The number of slides being used will probably be quite low, but we'll definitely make the recording available for you later on. Okay, I'm just going to share this screen with you now. So this is the Hub platform. So not what I showed you before. This is the main landing page. As you can see, James is logged in on Hub. There is a slight difference when you go to it without logging in. Some aspects of it are public facing, so that you don't need a login to access them, but most of the apps do require a login. If James can just click on the waffle button towards the top. 2 ways to access all the applications. So as James was scrolling down a moment ago, you'll see these applications listed as well. But the waffle button generally tends to be the quickest way of finding your way in. This is a really, really brilliant tool for teachers and learners in Wales, because we've got a consistent package of applications which can be used in all schools for different purposes. And we've got learners all over the region making really, really strong progress in their digital learning through these applications, all freely available. So the Office 365 icon, which is on the far left, that enables you to access many of the Microsoft applications. You also have the ability as a teacher or learner in Wales to download the Microsoft Office package to your computer for free. This includes as well access to Minecraft for Education. So that's been a hugely popular addition to the Hub platform over the last year. Outlook. So Outlook is next across. Outlook provides every teacher and every learner in Wales with their own email address, which is part of the Hub domain. That can be really, really useful in contacting people with Hub addresses in other schools, because under one domain, we've got all sorts of tie-ins to schools all over Wales. Really good for collaborative learning. We've got the Google for Education icon next. And it does take you through initially to Classroom, but if you click the waffle within Google for Education on Classroom, it'll open up Docs, Slides, Sheets, Sites, Forms, which I believe Graham's going to look at with us in a moment. So all of the Google apps are available there too. One of the latest additions is Adobe Spark, which you'll see next. Adobe Spark is from the same family that produced Photoshop, and it allows pupils and teachers to make use of loads of design features within the Spark Studio. That's only been on since I think the beginning of the lockdown period, so well worth a look. And there's some excellent webinars on Adobe Spark available via Hub. So Hub, to follow Hub on Twitter, is @HubNews. And they've got a wide range of different resources available via that channel. Just Too Easy is a package of software which is aimed generally at younger users. You can create all sorts of data, spreadsheets, branching databases. There are a whole plethora of things available in there. You can award stars. Cronva is an area where you'll be able to access lots of professional learning materials from Central South. So those are available only to teachers within our own region. So have a look at Cronva. There's loads to see there. There are loads of other applications available, as you can see. I would really encourage you to take a look at those because, as I said, they're available wherever you're teaching. If it's within Wales, you'll have access to Hub. So you can get a head start on wherever you're going to teach and have a look at producing some resources via the Hub platform. Please do take a look. If you've got any questions further to that, please put them in the Q&A in the next session and we'll do our best to answer those. Again, I've got my contact details at the beginning of the Q&A, so if you've got any specific questions that we don't cover today, please get in touch. Thank you. Right, we're going to go over to Graham Jones, who is joining us from Ysgol Bont Vine.
Fabulous. So I'm Mr. Jones from Bont Vine Primary in Cowbridge, and I'm going to show you one of my favourite G Suite apps, which is Google Forms. Hopefully you can see in front of you my sort of Google Classrooms, but I thought I'd delve straight in and show you some examples that my children actually did. I'm currently teaching Year 3, and a few weeks ago, as part of their Predators topic, my children produced a Google form. So hopefully you can see one of their amazing quizzes as they've titled it here. And as you can see, they've changed the header, they've given a title as a description, and this is about African wild dogs. And they have questions here, multiple choices. Obviously you can only select one. And this red asterisk here means that it's a required question as well, so it has to be asked. If we continue scrolling down, we actually have a different type of question here when we actually have to type in. So what noise does the African wild dog make to you? I would assume probably woof. And down the bottom, we have a linear scale where we say, how much do you like the African wild dog, from not at all to best animal in the world, and then we submit it. And that response would go straight to the learner so they can actually see the answers that people have done for them. Another one, this is a age 7 child, did a crocodile quiz, slightly different this time. They actually uploaded a photo to the header here. And again, we have these required questions here, multiple choice. But if we scroll down, this learner has actually uploaded a picture as well here. And further down, they have actually even embedded a video. As I said, this is a child is 7 years old, so I personally think really impressive. But let's actually see how we get into Google Forms. So I'm back on my sort of Google Classroom page, and there's 2 ways of doing it. We can go up to the waffle as we mentioned, but if you have a classroom already set up, I suggest if you want those learners to use it, you actually go into that classroom, you go into classwork as Richard showed us earlier, and you go to create. And when you go to create, one of the options is a quiz assignment, and below the title and instruction, it will automatically generate a Google Forms quiz for you. And as Richard showed earlier, you can then assign that to certain classrooms or to individual students. I'm going to create a brand new one, so I'm going to go up to the waffle here, and I'm going to select a Google form. And here are some of the apps that Matthew mentioned earlier. And if we scroll down, here is Google Forms, and let's just click in here. And on the home page, as it were, we've got a few options. We can start a brand new form, we can use one of the templates, or we can continue the work that we've recently done. And many reasons I love Google Forms. Probably one of the main ones is that it's absolutely superb for summative and formative assessment and getting that immediate feedback. And we all know the importance of getting that feedback and making sure that it's immediate. So if we press blank here for a brand new quiz, here is the first screen. So what I'll do is give it a title, and we'll continue with the predators topic that I was doing with my children. And I just type it in here, save it straight away and click off, and this will now become the title of my quiz, my Google form. And I'll give it a quick description. Please complete this quiz. So you can provide more instruction there if you wish as well. Now I want to draw your attention up to the top ribbon where we have several buttons. My top tip for using Google Forms is to keep using the preview button here, so it shows you what the pupil is going to actually see. We're going to quickly delve into customized theme here, and we're going to choose an image. So if you remember that crocodile image, this is where that pupil actually went. They went into here and they actually uploaded a photo. So they had something on their desktop and they dragged it over and they uploaded it. There's a series of themes. So let me just remind ourselves, we're doing predators here. So let's have a look at a particular theme. Yes, butterfly, and we can insert that and that will become my header. Nothing says predators like a butterfly, does it? So there we are. And I can change the theme color here as well. I can change the background as well, as you can see on the right hand side. And also we can change the font. Although there's only 4 different types of font, I would suggest you keep it basic. That's probably one of the best ones. So my top tip, as I said, was to keep checking under preview. So let's have a little look. That's what it looks like so far. That's what the learner would actually see. So click off there, and now let's actually start to build this Google form. So I want you to think of this as a series of blocks. There's one block here, which is our theme. There's another block here, which is our header. And then these are the question blocks here. And you'll notice this little bar here will always appear to the right hand side. But to create a question is very, very simple. I'll literally click on here and I'll type in what type of animal is an eagle. And a question mark there. Now you notice there's an image here. I can add a photo below if I want. But the most important part for us at the moment is to look at this drop down box here, because this shows us all the different type of questions that we could have. I'm not going to go into all of them because it'd be a much longer presentation. But if we have a little look here, we have sort of a narrative here, so we can ask the pupil to write a short answer or a paragraph. We can have a multiple choice where we can only select one, a checkbox where we can select more than one. We can even upload files. So if you had a series of classes names, you could upload them all onto here and have a drop down box of their names. We have a linear scale, that was that 1 to 5 that you saw earlier. We also have a multiple choice grid. So this one you could actually select more than one, and a tick box grid as well. Okay, so they're the main ones. I'm going to cover about 4 of them today. Okay, so what type of animal is an eagle? And quite simply, we type in option 1, and I'm going to type in bird. Okay, again, you'll notice over here, the photo caption has come here, the image. We could add an image above there as well. I'll show you how to do that in a moment. But to get another option up, we simply press enter. Okay, a fish, is it a reptile, or is it a mammal? Okay, so can you remember that the top tip? Let's have a look at preview up here again. This is what it looks like to the learner. Okay, best thing to do, keep checking. Just click off there. A couple of things as well on this block. If we're happy with this sort of question, we want to keep doing that sort of question, we can duplicate it. We don't have to keep doing the same thing. We can obviously delete it as well, and we can make it required. So do you remember when we saw that red asterisk earlier? This would make the learner have to answer that question, so it's now a required one. Now what I want to do is add an image now. So add the image, and this was for a bird. We've got 5 options here. We can upload something that we've already got. I could press camera, but you'd see my face and I don't want to scare you. If we know a URL, we can just copy and paste it in there. If we have something in our Google Drive already, we can get it from there, or we can do a Google image search. So if we type in bird, in fact, I'll type in eagle because that was part of the question. And all I do is simply click on and insert. Okay, and the image will appear below. But when you actually look at it, when you view it, it'll actually be above it. I'll quickly whiz through this now. I'll add a fish under Google image search. And insert again. And I'll add a reptile. We'll go for a snake perhaps. Click on there. And then finally we'll add a mammal. And I think just to try and catch the pupils out or challenge them is let's go for a whale. Okay, I'll click that in there. And that top tip again, let's preview that. Sorry if it's going a bit quick when I'm going up and down. Let's preview. This is what it now looks like. So here we are, what type of animal is an eagle, and we can only select one of these, okay? And then we submit if we wanted to. Okay, so let's build in another type of question now. So this time I'm going to scroll down and notice again this ribbon's following me here. So I'm going to press add a question. So add a question and a brand new block will appear. Now this time I want a slightly different type of question. So I'm going to type in describe the features of a mammal. I want the learner to select multiple options this time. So I'm actually going to go for a check box. Okay, and this here, the image, I mentioned this before, I'm going to select an image now and I'm going to put it below that question. So we've got the same 5 options again. If I go to Google image search and I type in a bear, so let's click on that one now. So it's much more visual for our learners. Insert an image will appear just below. So describe the features of a mammal. And again, same thing, I type my answer in here and I just press enter. So gives birth to live young, lays eggs. I'm sure you've worked out which one may be the incorrect answer now. And is warm-blooded. Okay. Just a few there, and again, top tip, just keep checking as we go through. So I'll whiz the top, go to preview, and let's have a look what that one looks like. We scroll down now. There we are, and I can actually select more than one now. Okay, the only thing I didn't do that time was make sure that that was a required question, which I will now do, and I'll make sure that then the learner will answer that question. So required question now. So let's add a different type of question. So say we've got a literacy lesson, we want them to write a little bit more. Okay, so let's have go about write a descriptive paragraph about a whale shark. Okay, so at the very, very top we had the option for a paragraph here, so I'm going to select that, but I want to have a stimulus. So this time I'm actually going to add a video. So if you look at this ribbon again here, we have the option to add a video and add a photo, but this will appear in a different block. So let's add video, and we've got a YouTube search, or we can add the specific URL if we know that, but I'm just going to type in whale shark, search that, and hopefully one should come up. Yes, lovely, top left here, and I'm going to select that. Now obviously it's below, but if I look at this, there's 6 little dots here. If I drag that, I can actually move it so it's above. And I can put a little bit of instruction there, watch the video and answer the question below. Okay, and simple editing as well. If I select the three dots of the snowman here, I can move that to the middle as well. Okay, so again, we should scroll to the top and have a quick preview, see what that looks like. And let me show you a different type of question. One of my favorite ones is the linear scale this time. Okay, so add a question, select here and scroll down to the linear scale. We type another question: how much are you enjoying this presentation? Okay, and we simply type our answers in here. Not very much. To 5, perhaps changed my life. Okay, so let's have a little preview. Let's make these required questions as well. I just need to move that up, just realize that's slightly at the wrong place. There we are, make that a required question as well. And then let's have a look at preview as we're really starting to build a quiz. And I think I've been going for just over 10 minutes now, and you can see how effective this is. And this is going to go to my entire class if I wanted to. So here we are, there's the multiple choice with images. Here's the descriptive paragraph with a photo in there. Sorry, not the descriptive paragraph, the sort of checkbox here. Here's the video with the descriptive paragraph, and here is the linear scale here. There's only a few more things that I want to show you, and one is how to create sections within a quiz. So again, if I was teaching a literacy lesson and maybe I was doing a story which could go different directions, option 1 could take them to one part in the Google form, option 2 could take them to another part. And the way we do this is actually, if I scroll right to the bottom again, and apologies if it's sort of a bit of a blur as I go down. If I go right to the bottom again, I can actually create a section. See here, this is add a section, and a second section will appear. So this is section 2, and at the very top is section 1. And again, we have that sort of title screen here for the title and the descriptive writing. What I now need to do is add another question. I need to add it above here. So what I would do is, do you want to continue with the quiz? And I select down here, I press yes. Notice that it's intuitive. It tries to work out what you're likely to type, yes and no. And I go back to the snowman down here. I have the option to go to a section based upon my answer here. Okay, so if the answer is yes, we'd want to go to section 2. We'd want to continue. We'd add more questions there. So section 2, continue to section 2. If they answer no, we just simply want them to submit the form. Okay, so that would, so they've got the option to say yes, we continue the quiz. No, they submit the form. Okay, now only a few more things I want to show you. So remember, at the very top, we have these buttons here in settings. Okay, one thing I really love, as I mentioned at the start, it's great for summative and formative assessment, is that you can actually create a quiz basically. So if we see here on the right hand side, we click on quiz, we click this button here, we can make this a quiz. You notice as well, if we wanted to, we could give the pupils their marks straight away, or we could do it later after we've had a little look at it. So let's press save here, and there'll be a slight difference now on these blocks. So when I click on here, down the bottom, there's an answer key. I can actually award it a certain amount of points, which can be particularly useful for the learner and for the teacher. Very, very simple to do. Other things within settings, you can collect email addresses if you wish. I tend to do that if I'm getting feedback from parents. I want to collect their email addresses. You can limit to one response. I suggest you do, and you can even let the learner see the summary, the charts and text responses as well. You can get it to change the order in presentation as well. You can have a progress bar, you can shuffle the question order, and you can even have a confirmation message once to let the learner know that you've actually received the information. Now, one more thing I want to show you, I mentioned at the start, I would generally do this as a quiz assignment and send this Google form to my class immediately, or you can go up to send here and you can send an email directly to people if they want to complete this Google form, or you need to make sure that you include the form in the email, or if you're working with a colleague, you may want to add them as a collaborator as well. So you can have more than one teacher working on the same form. You can also send people a URL of the form. So if I copy that and I was to prompt that into a URL, this is what it would look like. Okay, there is the quiz. Or you can even get the embed code and put that directly onto your website if you have one. So there's one other thing that I just wanted to quickly show you, two other quizzes that I completed. I often use Google Forms as an exit ticket. So very quickly, the learner can type their name, tell me one important thing that they learned in class today, and one thing they would like to help make today's lesson more effective. Very simple. It takes me literally a minute to set up, and I want to do it. And I've got a more complex one here that I used when we knew we were returning back to school to see which one of our how many of our parents and pupils intended to come back. And section 1, as you can see, it's split into 5 different sections, and it depended upon their answer. So again, if I preview this one, if they said no, select which year group they were in, go to next. They would then just let me know the name of the child and then submit it. And there was 5 different ways in which they could complete the survey. So that was Google Forms a whistle-stop tour. This is the form that we managed to create in about sort of 15 minutes. And I hope you found that useful. So Matthew, that's back over to you.
Just a final note, a really interesting time to be going into education. Things have changed significantly, and digital tools and applications are really important in order to deliver content to pupils and to be able to interact and collaborate with them. We've had some requests for a Just Too Easy webinar. If there are any other aspects of Hub that you would like some material on, please let us know. I've got my address at the top of this Q&A, matthew.humphreys@cscjes.org.uk. Please do get in touch and let us know what you would like us to make provision for, and we would be more than happy to do so. Really useful for you to hear from practicing teachers today as well, and to see some of the things that they're using with their pupils. These applications do work really well with pupils. They're tried and tested. And that's why they're on the Hub platform, because Hub are very choosy as to what ends up being included there. So again, thanks to all of you for joining us. Really appreciate your time today. We're finishing slightly early. Again, please fill in that evaluation form and let us know if you have any feedback, and we will certainly then be pleased to hear from you and to support you in this early stage of your professional development. Thanks to all our presenters today, to Richard, to Graham, to James, to Mandy, who's had to dash off. Thank you for all the time you've put into it as well ahead of the actual session itself. We really appreciate that indeed. So that's it from me. Please enjoy the rest of your afternoon despite the weather, and we'll be in touch. Thank you.